We live?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. We're live here. Pat's not with us. I'm going to be your stand-in host for this event. And with Kevin, one of our employees here at Level 6, project manager, kind of jack of all trades, the Swiss Army knife of Level 6. And Andrew. We have Andrew is he's a longtime collaborator. Did some stuff with us on a paddle, our canoe sweepstakes a while ago. Mm-hmm. He's joining us here for today, talking about canoeing and kind of how Andrew became Andrew.
Sounds good.
Before we jump too far into that line of things, I guess we'll talk a bit about why Pat's not here. It's actually kind of embarrassing. Well, it's not embarrassing for Pat, but it's a big life stage for Pat. Pat is getting married in September, so he right now is at City Hall getting his marriage license. He went there once before, and he didn't have the proper paperwork. Classic Pat. Denied. So now he's back there on round two. And I guess the lady who was going to give it to him was a really disgruntled city worker who was not liking Pat's inability to show up half an hour before they close on a Friday. So he's back there today with his proper paperwork.
Yeah.
And then he's also on a week-long bachelor party at Wilderness Tours next week. So he's going to probably go to that.
Rough life he lives.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're going to go see him on Tuesday or Wednesday for a day down the Ottawa.
Yep.
And then we're going to
go for a rip. I'm going canoeing.
Yeah, open canoe.
That's right.
I.e. open swim.
Yeah.
I don't swim.
I don't swim.
No.
And then we're going to party up with Pat and head back to the office. But yeah, so that's kind of where Pat is right now. So I'm going to fumble my way through this and see how it goes. I guess we can jump into this. So we always, Andrew, I'm not sure you've probably seen a couple episodes.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So Whitewater Brewery, they sponsor our little liquid lunch here, and we're back to kind of one of the all-time favorites, Farmer's Daughter.
Sweet.
I think it's one of their first brews.
One of their first ones, for sure.
Remember when Chris was here?
Yeah.
I think episode 3 or 4, Chris, actually the owner of Whitewater Brewery, was here, and he talked about the whole challenges of how to start a company from nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they're delicious.
Super delicious. So,
get in
hope
there.
you like beer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've already got
part I've been waiting for.
Already started.
Cheers.
Heck yeah. Thanks for having me.
Still good.
It's so easy to drink.
Yeah. So we'll drink this couple of these, and we can talk about it at the end, like what your thoughts are on it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's already pretty good.
It's already pretty good.
I've had this many times. It's awesome.
Yeah. I think, as an artist and a designer, you might kind of find it kind of interesting how this is like not the first logo they had with this can. Do you know about that? The first one was a little bit more risque. Do you know that?
How long ago was that? Did they have it out in production for a while?
They did.
Okay.
They had to button up her shirt.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, it was a bit more of I'm going to say like a German beer hall style, push-up kind of style.
Yeah.
Jesse is familiar with that type of look. Jesse, I'm not sure if you guys have tuned in before. Jesse is behind the scenes right now.
My girlfriend is going to kill you.
Yeah. It's actually another big interesting change of events with Jesse. Jesse has moved in with his girlfriend.
Congrats.
It's personal life here.
It is. Pat is getting his marriage license. Jesse's moving with his girlfriend downtown.
Okay.
Downtown living.
Nice.
Downtown Ottawa. So they changed the logo because there was a kickback on. Yeah. She was a bit too promiscuous, I guess.
It makes sense, but I guess
as you go from
you don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah.
No.
That's not good for business.
No,
that's true.
I mean, I gotta watch that part.
Yeah.
Yes.
We won't go down that road.
It's funny if you look back at some of the earlier, like our level 6 kind of our history book. Some of our original ads were very risque.
Oh, for sure. Like the whole sex sells thing.
Totally. As we matured as a company and we got bigger and we got to accounts that were maybe a bit more politically correct.
Yep.
We had to kind of tone down that rhetoric a bit.
For sure. You have to.
You have to.
Gotta get paid.
You gotta get paid. So
cool.
Kind of interesting little story about Farmer's Daughter.
That's awesome.
A little quick recap. Episode 5 was 2 weeks ago now. Time is flying. Jake from Accabound Bending Branch was here. He's probably watching right now, I assume. He's watching right now, live. Got interesting stories about Jake and the history of paddle sports. Jake's been around since as long as Level 6 has been around. We got to listen to his work from Stolequist to Bending Branches to Accabound and what it's like to work for a company that's just-in-time manufacturing. Like really, like they're in there, order comes in, and they're producing blades at that moment to get out the door.
Really?
Versus what we do, where we're garments are generally made offshore now,
Right.
so it's the lead times are 6-7 months, and we're projecting, we're trying to analyze it.
Right.
Where they have all the raw materials, they don't build anything until the order's in.
Right.
So
it's crazy how many wood canoe paddles that place pumps out.
Yeah,
sure.
It's insane.
Yeah, they actually have a really cool video on their YouTube page about the history of Akaba and how it's done.
Yeah,
many branches.
Okay, I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
Andrew and I have been kind of touching base back and forth and stuff, but it's awesome.
It's cool. Super
40
cool
to 50
to see
a year.
Yeah.
Nothing compared to that, I'm sure.
Actually, a lot more than I thought you made.
Me?
40 or 50 paddles a year.
Yeah, well, and then we have like the classes too, right? And so we make like 6 in like the course of 2 weeks, and that's like I'll have my second course running later on this month.
Really?
So, yeah,
Sweet.
so it should be fun.
Well, let's talk about that.
Oh yeah, later on.
Okay, remind me about that.
We'll get there.
The courses. So it's a great episode to check out if you want to see kind of the difference between what we do versus what Akaba and Bending Branches does versus what even some of the rotomolded kayak companies. Everything is a slightly different manufacturing cycle, and we all try to force ourselves into the same trade show selling cycle. So it's everyone's got there's always a bit of give and take and all that stuff.
Right.
Next up is we have our Whitewater Sweepstakes is next month.
Next month.
So big paddling season for sure. In a lot of the places in the world we sell to.
Yeah.
I guess when do we launch that officially? September 1st?
It'll be September 1st, so keep your eyes peeled for that on social media.
Yep.
We've got a crazy package set up for your chance to win. It's going to be dope.
Who do we have? We've
got Salas giving away a Rescue PFD, Watershed dry bags, giving away a Koei bag. We've got American Backcountry t-shirt package.
Yep.
Kayak Session Magazine is giving away a 2-year in-print subscription. And we've got Astro Footwear giving away a free pair of shoes. And we may even have more partners coming on board.
And Shred Ready.
And Shred Ready helmets, the new Zeta. They're going to be giving away one of those.
We should have had it. Do we have a Zeta here?
We'd have to go out and get one.
Okay. That one up there?
I don't think there's one in here.
Okay, we need to get a Zeta. This is actually, I was talking to Tom from Shred Ready a couple days ago. I'm not going to say it now because it's a secret until August 22nd. But the Zeta is going to win a very special award. And you'll see this helmet in an institution, a design institution in the States.
Cool.
Forever as their private collection.
Right.
So, pretty impressive.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So,
it's a cool helmet.
I may have actually said too much about that already, but
I was gonna say
everybody's like, "Oh, special institution." I don't know what that is, but anyway, it's going to win an award. It actually won the award already.
Oh, okay.
But it's going to be announced on August 22nd to the public.
Okay.
So you'll see this helmet out there forever, which is pretty cool for Tom to do. So check that out.
Early leak.
Whoops. Yeah. Level 6.
Level 6.
Leaky level 6 liquid lunch.
Oh my God.
Classic. Whitewater Brewery. We talked about that sponsor. We'll do the beer critique. And I think that's it for our...
That's it for housekeeping.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, let's talk about canoeing. Canoeing. Okay. Should we talk about... The ultimate water sports activity.
Yes, in Canada for sure.
In Canada. I am biased.
Yeah. You're a whitewater canoer?
I'm a whitewater canoer. I just think it's far superior compared to kayaking.
Yes.
Feel free to chime in if you don't agree.
Why do you think that?
Why do you think that? I mean, from a tripping standpoint, for spending time in the wilderness, it's the easiest way to travel. There's a reason why canoes have been used for thousands of years as the go-to craft.
Yeah.
As far as navigating waterways, carrying lots of gear, you don't have to be like super minimalistic in what you bring. You can camp and travel comfortably. And if you run out of water and you need to cross a land section to get a new piece of water, it's way easier to carry than a kayak or anything else. So
cool.
That's why it's better.
I mean, I think a lot of people started off canoeing as their first water sports experience, as a non-power boat. You're not wakeboarding or water skiing.
Yeah.
If your parents were into human powered travel, it's probably canoeing first. I would think, before you jumped into sea kayaking or whitewater? I know I started canoeing. My parents, both Swedish, and we used to go to Sweden in the summertime, and we get on the canoe and we'd paddle from lake to lake, and that was how I started my love for the water. And I was 6 years old.
Nice.
There was nothing else. It was just, it's easy, it's confined, you can load in, load out. You can jump out if you want. Anyway.
It's not super expensive to get into.
Yeah.
I mean, boats can be pretty expensive depending on what you're getting, but in comparison to like other family activities, it can be pretty inexpensive.
Yep.
You know, compared to going to like Disney World.
Yep.
Going on a canoe trip for a week is, offers some pretty stellar experiences.
For sure.
So.
Andrew, I came across a picture of you on social media behind the Parliament buildings in this sweet-looking canoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you paddling
What
right
was
now?
That's the canoe I made and stuff. So
Okay, the
it's-
wood one.
made it.
Yeah, it's a cedar strip that I made. And my buddy Taylor, Michael Burke, he was in town doing a shoot for tourism.
Yeah.
So he's in town from Vancouver. He's an incredible photographer. And yeah, we were just kind of hanging out for the week while he was here. We went, did all the things, climbed, paddled all the things pretty much.
Okay.
Went camping and stuff. And so we took a rip behind the Parliament there. And yeah, he shot that photo.
That was so
Cool.
Yeah,
Sweet.
super
So
fun.
how long did it take you to build that?
Took me all year.
A year?
Yeah, but it's 400 hours, and they would tell you it's gonna take 400 hours to build. I'm like, no way, whatever. I'll be able to build that. I'll be able to build that in I'll be able to build that in no time. And it's yep, it takes you a proper 400 hours.
It does.
I don't think there's a way around it almost to a certain degree. And so it's just and then I was traveling as much as I did last year for work and everything like that. And so I would end up kind of having odd nights here and there.
Yeah.
And then just random bouts about doing it and making it, and then I'd stop for a while and then get back on it, and just kind of one of those projects,
So what is the hard? I mean, I know I've seen some of your woodworking work. Well, let's go back. How did you start into woodworking? How did you become?
Yeah.
How is Andrew? Who are you, and how did you get to where you are? Because
Oh geez.
I want to talk about the canoeing, the paddles you make, and I follow your Instagram. Certainly worth following that because you can see you do some really cool time lapse
or
photography,
building things,
and you can really see how things come together.
Yeah, try to.
I'd love to see the canoe if that's ever possible. But how did you get from where? Okay, you're a 10-year-old kid. How did you get to where you are now? I mean, I know a bit of the history of your skateboarding background. How did you get to where you are?
Well, so I don't know. My folks moved here, and then I was born in Ottawa and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we're first generation or whatever, right? So I'm just, my family's from Hong Kong and stuff.
Yeah.
So we didn't do any water sports stuff. So I'm just you're we started canoeing. I'm I'm still at I just started canoeing.
Yeah.
Really, you know? So that's why when you called this episode Everything Canoe, I'm maybe a few things canoeing, you know?
Yeah.
But, so did that and moved to the States and then basically moved to California. And California's just skateboarding. Skateboarding's everything. And so, just been skateboarding for forever. And I really wanted to get into making things with skateboards.
Yeah.
And then conveniently, my buddy's owned the Ottawa City Wood Shop. I've known Matt Wallace for years, even before he started that wood shop and stuff. And took a course and just started a membership there. And it's just been such a great hub to build things. And the people there, the community there, everybody's really rad there. So, just been there. And anything I want to build, I feel like I've got the community around me to help me start and probably push me through when I'm stuck on things.
Yeah.
And so that's where I've just been go there and build things.
Is that where you built the canoe as well?
No, it wouldn't fit.
Okay.
So I built that in my parents' basement.
Okay.
Yeah. They graciously offered it for a whole winter. Well, pretty much the whole year.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was just cedar dust everywhere.
Crazy.
Smells good, but then you kind of get allergic to cedar after a little while. And so that's one thing. When you've been working with it and you're just constantly sanding it and stuff like that.
On your skin? Or
Yeah, you do start to get itchy and stuff like that. But
Interesting.
yeah. So it's there's remnants, I'm sure, of canoe all over that basement and stuff.
Crazy.
But so that's pretty much that.
Well, it's interesting you talk about how you were, first generation Canadian, and you're getting into canoeing now, and that's the big discussion point right now.
Right.
Canadians, third, fourth, fifth generation, they're getting older, and then I guess unfortunately as you get older, less chance of activities. There's been a big gap, let's say the past 10 years, where there hasn't been a population to really enjoy the national parks and the canoeing and camping but now the talk now is that it's the first generation Canadians that their parents came here, and they're very concerned about, they're just immigrated to Canada,
Right.
starting a new life, and their kids are exposed to this outdoor lifestyle and the
Right.
beauty of Canada,
Right.
and they're getting into the sports or the activities that
Right.
define Canada that we used to be as, say, second or third generation Canadian took for granted.
Right. Yeah.
It's interesting to hear you do that, because that's exactly what the trends are right now.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And fair enough. I mean, this is such an incredible country for it, right?
Mhm.
Like it's got everything you
There's
want.
so many great opportunities at our doorstep as far as like places to paddle.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's easy to go out and paddle if you
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. And like
to find the resources.
Yeah. So I go back to Hong Kong like fairly often and stuff like that, and it's just like it's a tough lifestyle. It's like so overpopulated there that like A, where can you even store anything?
Yeah.
B, it's like you have to work. Like my family basically works 7 days a week, 12 hours every day kind of styles to maintain like a mortgage for like a 300 square foot
it's
box
crazy.
in the sky, and that's just the lifestyle there, right? And so you come here, you have I think it's an incredible system and an incredible country, and just like landscape there, you can just boot off to wherever in an hour, especially in the Ottawa area. You're onto something pretty epic pretty
agree.
quickly, right?
Yeah,
So
I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
even 20 minutes, Gatineau Park, it's just so good, right? So
I go to Hong Kong usually once or twice a year, and I feel like as a landing point to go in to see our factories, and I love it because it's a cruel, crazy city.
Right.
But I would have a hard time living there.
Yeah,
for sure.
totally.
Same with Toronto. Like I love visiting it, but I think I'd have a hard time living in Toronto.
Absolutely. 2 hours to get anywhere, kind of a deal, or an hour to get out of the city. Like, best case scenario.
Yeah.
But beautiful city to visit.
Yep.
Lots going on. But
The rat race.
the rat race.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So all of that stuff kind of worked up to where you are now. What do you do for a living? I mean, I know what you do for a living because I've seen pictures, but tell us what you do for a living.
So I'm like one of the videographers and photographers for the Coast Guard.
Okay.
And so, that's what I do. Just like, and it's always different. We just have events, ministerial events, prime minister events, and then it's just like, then we have like a new ship that's being unveiled and things like that.
Okay.
And, or it's just like, hey, we want to maybe do a feature on a chef on a vessel, or a feature on buoy tending and what the value is there and stuff like that. And so it's just like, we'll just kind of have whatever ideas or whatever things are kind of thrown at us. And it's just like, Andrew, can you make this happen? And it's like, yep. Okay. And so it's just like, I'll get sent to all over Canada and stuff. And it's a pretty fun ride.
That's awesome.
It's pretty sweet.
That's cool. Where were you just recently?
I was just up in Rankin Inlet.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's far up in the Arctic, Hudson Bay area.
Yeah.
And we have our first search and rescue base up there. Our first search and rescue station up in the north. And so it's just like, I was out there working with our students, and then also talking to elders in the community and folks in the community just about like what impact it kind of has. And it's like overall just very positive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've
That's
hired,
cool.
it's all Inuit staff. And folks are just, much more at ease with like us in the city because now their folks and kids can go out in the water into the open ocean, and they know that worst case scenario somebody will go after looking for them and stuff. So
Right,
if
if something bad happens, there's actually someone there that then
exactly
is going to go out and search.
Exactly.
You probably see more of Canada than most Canadians, and really with all your travel around.
Yeah, probably. I've been really fortunate for sure. Yeah.
Cool.
So
It's a fun gig. It's
Yeah. I mean, it's still like government and stuff.
For sure.
I mean, I'm sure anyone in Ottawa can kind of attest to what that's like and the levels of bureaucracy that you may have to go through.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, people on the water, like you're out there to do a job, and it's amazing. It's wicked. Yeah. We're out there saving lives, cleaning up spills if things happen, having to deal with that kind of stuff, hopefully preventing those things, and then anything from ice breaking to resupply of the Arctic, like different Arctic cities and stuff like that. And it's
cool.
So diverse and pretty rad. Yeah.
What is your craziest story? Like, do you have a crazy story, like helicopter going down?
No, thank goodness. I'm in helicopters now. I never want a helicopter go.
Polar bear tracking you?
Well, and that was not this trip, but the last trip before we were gonna I was up in Rankin this time last year, and we were about to drop me off in an island, and I think one of the guys on the boat spotted like something in the distance, and he was just like, and he's local, right, to the area, like he's basically from Rankin, and he's just like, no, don't have a good feeling. You're not getting off the boat. I'm like, I feel like there's a polar bear in the area.
Okay.
And so yeah, so it's just stuff
And
like
you knew it.
that. Yeah. Things like that, and I don't know, like on a whim, sometimes it'll be like, hey, you're on helicopter operations, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, I go from my desk job here in Ottawa to like, it's like, yep, the next 4 hours the helicopter is slated for you, and you're running operations, and it's just like, yeah, it's fun. It's, it's a pretty fun toy to, to start ripping around in and stuff like that. And I mean, coming up, we're looking at like drone testing for search and rescue and stuff like that. I'm like certified with transport and got all that stuff, so it's been really fun and
cool.
Yeah, starting to lead the charge on some of that stuff. So
can you fly a helicopter?
No. But we're getting the Coast Guard's getting the most state of the art helicopter simulator.
Okay.
One of the most state of the art, I think, in the world. Okay. And yeah, you can basically go in green. And like
it's hard, isn't it? Like I hear it's like a flying helicopter is one of the hardest things.
I don't know, but basically you can go in green.
It doesn't look easy.
And come out like, it's one of those simulators where you're like, after enough time, you, in theory, have the principles and can do it, right? But I don't think I'll get that kind of time or anything like that in there.
That's crazy.
We'll see. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So when did you start making your own woodworking stuff? I mean, I know you recycled skateboards, right. You made that, and then when you started making paddles, that was, you made a paddle for our canoe sweepstakes,
right?
Yep. Like when did that start happening?
Probably like my 3rd or 4th year making paddles now.
Okay.
So I want to say 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things like woodworking and building things. I think it's just fun. Like, so I started off as a photographer. Yeah. Like I still do a lot of photo, video gigs and stuff like that. That's like sort of bread and butter and stuff, right? And then I just wanted something that's more tactile and making things with my hands. Yeah. So that I can then create content versus like, no knock on any photographer or videographer out there, but like, instead of just going and documenting things, and I just wanted to have grow my skills underneath me and kind of build some things with my hands too. Mm-hmm. And so I just wanted to create the content myself and document it myself as well. Obviously, it's not going to be as great because my camera's literally just on a tripod the entire time, and I'm building things away. But yeah, that was really it. And then just seeing what products I made would stick with folks, right? So it's kind of interesting because you can use social media, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, as a gauge, right? Yeah. So you just kind of put things out there, and then if the comments start rolling in or if the likes start rolling in, you're kind of like, there's enough interested in this.
People are stoked on this.
Yeah. So it just kind of really went off like that. I think the first one I made was just like, peaked in terms of like engagement I was seeing on anything. So I was just like, all right, maybe I have something here, right? Yeah. And then I think later on that year or the year after, so I made a handful of those. And then the year after I had a paddle show at at Citizen. Okay. Yeah, and so I made about 13 paddles for that particular show. Lucky number 13. Yeah. Came out with a beer with my homies at Stone City Ales. Mm-hmm. And they kind of we were always talking about doing a beer project, and just kind of released them all that evening. So it was like my 2nd year into making them, and they all sold out within the first half hour or something like that. So that was kind of sweet. And it's cool. Just now that I look back on those particular paddles from that show, I'm just like, ooh, they're pretty cringy. Yeah. In terms of just
your evolution of where you are now.
Right. They're way thinner. They're actually much more, but they're fun to look back on for sure, right? And like the wood shop, actually, the owner of the wood shop bought one, and it's got one of the old ones, first one's hanging up. Okay. And it's just like, ooh, yeah. Could do so much more work, It's like, the folks at Bending Branches, I'm sure, would look at that and be like, really? Yes. But no, they're to a point now where I'm pretty happy with them. I think they're, they compete, they're a little heavier by nature. It's just like the laminates and stuff like that. I'm not really fiberglassing them or anything like that. I just, punch coats of epoxy on top, and I'm pretty happy with that. I've had paddles that have lasted the old 4 years now, and so that's my process. And they're a bit heavier, but I don't know, pretty fun and kind of a really fun one for the wall. I kind of really made them to kind of not compete really, because I don't really make enough of them to compete with anybody. Yeah. But kind of based on Norquay out in Toronto, they just make those beautiful paddles that you're just like, I need that on my wall.
Yeah, most of their sales are probably people that aren't even paddling.
Exactly.
They're just hanging them up in their cottage or in their house. Yeah. It's a piece of art. It's not just a tool.
Right. And I don't know if the finish on those ones would really allow you to give her fully on those.
Right, and you'd scratch them out probably pretty quick.
Yeah. But I don't know. I love scratches, and then it's one of those where I'm just like, they're using it, right?
That's right.
So
Yeah.
So I build mine all to be functional. As
Yeah, has a story behind it actually as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah.
right. It's all skateboards from in town.
Mhm.
They've all generally been just road and would go to landfill otherwise. Chop them all up, and then pretty much do 5% of all proceeds go to our local charity town for Privet's sake and stuff. So the money all goes back into basically underserved communities where we provide skateboards and programming, and also Girl Skate is also coming pretty heavily in town now. So like a bunch of young female skateboarders are starting, and we're really trying to promote that and help how we can, right? So funds going there as well.
So how do you get the recycled skateboards? Like, is there a?
You'll be surprised. Yeah, I have like stacks and stacks and stacks.
How do you find like skate shops to say here you go?
Yeah, and everyone. So it's a beautiful thing now because like the skate shops all like know to like put colors into their plies. Like historically, it costs money to like put those colors in there, right? But we'll almost go into that process now, being like, what colors are you short on, or what colors could you see fit for future products and stuff like that. And so they'll actually approach me about that, and then we'll even build that into the boards now, and then people in town just know that like I'm doing this, so they know that if your board's somewhat whole but you're kind of over it and stuff like that, just drop it off at the shop, and I'll make something sweet out of it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So that's great.
Great.
Cool. Like we're a small town, but you'll be surprised. The supply, even in the winter time, keeps me fully afloat and just like no worries,
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's rad, and we're having like a bunch of extra boards too. So like other folks who want to try, by all means, like come in and grab them, because it's better than that than going to landfill, right? So
yeah, for sure it is.
For sure.
What's your most interesting project you've ever done? I saw you're working on now, like the cushion seat, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kind of that bent.
Well, so that one's getting a lot of love, and that one's sweet. So it's like the Eames lounge chair and ottoman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't afford a real Eames chair. Those things are like
they're crazy.
$7,000-$8,000 a chair.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to buy a house right now. I'm just like, that shit's not gonna lend itself well. But so I got a fake one. I think it was like $700-$800, but knowing effectively that I was just gonna tear it apart and just like build something, right? So the project came about last year, where I actually wanted to, I got the thing in, and I originally wanted to like either laser out or CNC out or router out effectively just the veneer, so that I can just like stick a piece of skateboard in there and just like oh cool, like fun, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is that like because it's plywood and it's a super thin veneer on top, to get things consistent. And then it's also because it's a curved structure.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
Yeah. So to like get like a proper cut in is just like really tough.
Yeah.
And to and then to once you get your laminate of skateboards in there, to then take that down just so that it's flush with the veneer without like destroying the veneer that's on top was also like basically impossible too. So I was just like, this project's no good, right?
Yeah.
And I think I'm always kind of thinking of different ideas that I'm like, what would blow my mind in terms of like building something, and that's where I'm at, right? So I was just like thinking about this project again. I was like, why don't I just make the whole thing out of skateboards? Like screw it, like screw the veneers. I'll just toss that thing out. I'll just learn to shape. Like I've shaped things before, so I was just like, I'll just shape the whole damn backboard and I'll just make it all skateboards.
Okay.
So it's a bit of more of a challenge than just shaping things. It was like a waterfall sort of setup of glue ups that I had to do on the edges and things like that. And then, but there's gonna be videos on so the whole thing is I always document everything that I do, because I was just like, I don't know, it's just fun because basically
it's super cool to see. I mean, like to put that together and then bend the wood. Like
I just want to be like when I'm 40, like look back, or when I'm like I want to revisit that project, I'll rewatch my videos all the time, just be like, all right, that's what I did.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes I'll rewatch them too late.
But I should have done it like that.
Yeah, I was like, of course I was
Do
like,
you have those? Can you put the Instagram link up there?
Okay, sweet.
Jesse's always 2 steps ahead of us.
Yep. Pro now.
Yeah. So that's to say, like that project's really fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right now. Yeah.
I'll put it up again, but
So you're not going to sell that chair? You're going to keep that in your place?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it. I mean, it's almost too sketchy to sell too. I'm just like, it's my first time kind of like building the structure. I'm going to fiberglass that, so it's gonna be bomb proof and rock solid. I just bought the fiberglass today. I'm just like, I'm gonna just make sure, because the glue ups were, when you're talking about those curved structures and really putting, just slamming down on a chair like that and things like that, I just, I want this to last for generations.
Yeah.
Because I think ultimately why I'm building things is like, I just want, like, we're all gonna die or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And like, I just want people to be like, well, what the hell is that? You know?
Who
like,
did that?
Yeah, like, and just, kind of just leave things that are like.
Do you sign your work with anything?
Maru's kind of like, it's like the little tab or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like I used to like start as a clothing brand and stuff like that, and it's just like, whoa, this clothing's like insane to do.
Yeah.
Like as
Tell
y'all
us
know.
about it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm just like, now I'm just like, just whatever I make, I just kind of sign off as that and stuff. And so
Cool.
I'll laser like small engravings into them and just
Awesome.
yeah.
You never know, one day it'd be like, it's a Maru chair, a Maru paddle.
Yeah, maybe it'll turn
Paddles,
into
the
that.
paddles, the chair
yeah.
will just be like, whoa, okay.
Yeah,
And
your
then-
great grandkids.
But the idea is like you can Google and YouTube everything now, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like there'll be a YouTube video on how
Yeah.
the thing was made, and
Yeah,
it's just
it'll
like
be there forever.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right. Whereas like sometimes you're like, whoa, like you see like one of these really cool things in Ottawa, and you're like, who the hell was that, or how did that come to be, right? And you're just gonna have the whole origin of it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very cool.
Yeah. So it'll be
That's
neat.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's jump into why we're here, the canoeing stuff. So, what's so far? I mean, you're new to canoeing, or new enough.
Yeah, new enough for sure.
What's your best canoe trip to date? I know you did a wicked photo shoot with Kevin and Jesse. Where were you guys?
We're at the Canoe Outdoor Center.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Stunning
area.
photos.
really
I don't know,
good.
Jesse, want to grab some photos of
So-
Andrew?
Killed it. Jesse killed it.
So nice. Yeah, it was such a
Yeah, like that fog, mist rising, and the
Yeah.
overcast canoe was
perfect,
pretty
like
sweet.
morning and evening.
I was just like,
It was
that was
perfect.
pretty great
Yeah.
out there.
So what's your best so far?
I think the best so far is our trips to like Poisson Blanc, I think.
Where's that?
It's like Mont Saint Marie area,
Yeah, it's
kind of a
Just
deal.
north of Mont Saint Marie. Pretty
Pascal
close.
de Mont,
Yeah.
kind of going up that way. It's the paddle climb that you kind of do out that
Mhm.
way. So it's like an hour drive from out, like if you're downtown Ottawa, it's like an hour drive, and then
Yeah.
7-8 kilometer paddle, so like an hour paddle.
Yeah.
And then there's this like rock called the Parois Elephant, and it's just like, dude, it's just like this massive, incredible wall, right? And then
Into water,
yeah, so it's a canoe belay.
so you can, if you fall, you just land in water. If you wanted to.
Yeah, don't fall though.
Okay.
Yeah,
Shallow.
you're on rope, right? You're
Yeah.
on ropes, so you're not falling to the water or
Okay.
anything like that. But it's just the novelty of that stuff. I always like it when it's like you're not just doing kind of one thing.
You're
It's
like
kind of like
combining sports.
it's combining things.
Yeah.
You're like, again, it's like everything I want to do is just like it's gonna blow my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
So like hopefully it's cool and stuff like that. But that trip was just like, woo. And I think the first time I went was the first time I climbed outdoors.
Okay.
And that was just like,
yeah.
I was, and that's like a 200-foot wall. It's a 7-meter wall or something like that. So I'm just at the top, and it's like a full crack climb by the time you get to the top. And you're just like, and I'm not like a good climber. I'm not really even a good canoeer at all. But by the time you're up there, you're just like, everything's shaking.
Yeah.
But like, if you make the climb to the top, you're just like, whoa.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
that feeling
Yeah.
you get, like euphoric moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the canoeing
Yeah.
and the camping out there is epic. It's just like great. You have some really sweet ground spots, or you can purchase camping spots for the evenings and stuff like that. And it's just incredible landscape up there.
And it's only an hour away.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
Exactly. Amongst other things all
Yes.
along the way, which
Yeah.
are really great. So yeah. So I think that's probably one of my more memorable trips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. How about like is there a bucket list one you got thinking about? Like what's your ultimate.
No, nothing super
Northwest Passage.
crazy.
Something super
No,
crazy.
I mean,
Northwest Passage.
I
I always
like-
think about that Costa Rica canoe race. It was
Oh,
Costa
the
Rica?
Belizean.
Belizean.
Belize, yeah,
Yeah,
the
sorry,
La Ruta
Belize.
Maya.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you just
That's on mine.
you just suffer.
That's on
Like
mine.
that's
You
all that
suffer.
is suffering, right? Like
what is that trip? Explain it to me.
It's like a canoe race.
Yeah.
200 mile
Yeah, it's super
Through
miles.
Belize.
Yeah,
through like the
La Ruta Maya.
Yeah, Rumana River goes through like
Mosquitoes.
the jungle and
No, not really. You're
No.
moving too fast.
Okay.
Oh, ideally you're moving
Yeah,
too fast.
you're moving fast.
Yeah.
You can do it like I know.
Yeah.
I've looked into the past. I know you were down there.
Yeah.
And you can get people to basically get like base camps set up.
You need to.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah, you need to.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you've got like you kind of like pick your route. You're like, realistically, I'm only going to be able to paddle this much per day. It's still a race, so you're still going to go pretty hard.
Yeah.
And you've got a local guide with you in the boat. Tell you
Local guide in the boat? Really? Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, you can do
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, it would be smart of them to make it a tourism thing.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
this.
I've heard of someone who's done it that way, and then when
Okay.
they got there, it was kind of like they had like a bit better meals planned. Like the camping
Really
was like
interesting. Yeah.
kind of set up, so you're not
Yeah.
just like, it's not an extreme survival race. You know what I mean?
Oh, it
Which
isn't
is-
even though, because at the end of every night it's a huge party.
Right.
Like it's a huge party at the end of every night. So it's kind of like, I don't think it would be too survival, but it's just like, you're suffering. Like it's like 50-mile paddle like daily,
Per
and
day.
it's blistering heat like in Belize kind
Yeah.
of a deal. So you're like,
It's like that ski race they have from Ottawa to Montreal, the 180-kilometer one.
Oh really?
It's like the
Yikes.
Coureur de Bois.
Okay.
It's like, it's just, you're suffering.
Yeah.
But
It's intense.
it's intense.
Yeah.
Oh, when you're done. You're done. It's good.
Yeah.
So it'd be
I've heard
cool.
about it. Yeah, apparently it's not like, I guess it sounds
The
intense.
ski
but-
race?
No, the paddling one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so this year I went with like Bear Mountain boats. And that's
Okay.
like interesting. Like that's a whole separate story in canoeing, and that's like more on the builder side, which is
Right.
where I'm always coming from more of like the builder perspective, and then like, of course I'm gonna use my craft and stuff like that, right? But
Yeah.
so Bear Mountain boats, they're like the godfathers and godmothers of like cedar strip canoe building almost in Canada.
Okay.
They've written the book that's like the Bible pretty much,
Okay.
right? Canoe craft.
Okay.
And like Nick Offerman, you guys know Nick Offerman
don't
at all?
know.
He's like from Parks and Recreation, Ron Swanson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's like he did the DVD.
Oh
It's
really?
him building the boat as the DVD.
That's amazing.
It's so amazing.
I actually think my friend Andrew did that with the same
book.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, that's like the book. It's like
Okay.
if you're gonna build a boat, that's the book you need to
Okay.
use. And
Very
so yeah, so I was fortunate enough to like when I bought the kit, I just like shot like a little video, almost sounded like this, like
Yeah.
like interview styles.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Do you just like want to like start filming with us and stuff like that?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely," because we're working actually on something for the Paddling Film Festival.
Okay.
So
Like the
that's-
case.
Sorry.
No, which
No, that's the Ottawa Adventure Film
That's right.
Festival.
Yeah.
This is more of a sort of legacy piece as much
Okay.
as opposed to it being more of an adventure piece.
Yep.
So it's kind of like, sort of where Ted and Joan have kind of gone and
Okay.
what their influences kind of is and what they've kind of done in the canoe world and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So that's kind of what our video is more like. It's more documentary style.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we went to Belize, and so all coming back to this, volume mind
Full
jumps all over
circle,
the place.
yeah.
Full circle is that we were there to document because they built one of the first boats that were like that changed the game. They basically built the boats that were all like more streamlined and built it out of cedar strip as opposed to it being like the OG Burlux boat style boats.
Yeah.
They then started building these streamlined boats out of cedar.
Okay.
And their boats clearly had the advantage and were winning everything.
Yeah.
And the whole boats in that particular race have changed altogether
Yeah.
to basically be that same style that they made in the 80s or whatever it was. So yeah,
That's
so
cool.
that's
That's
so
very
it was
cool.
kind of cool. And then based on that, the original crew of folks who started building in like a garage now have like a full huge like wood shop, and it's just like they've hired many more employees, and it's kind of brought and they're starting to build furniture all across Belize.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like from boat building, it's
It's
influenced
kind
like
of grown into.
it's exactly. And like Ted sent all the tools out to Belize and stuff like that, and they were then of course nowadays you're ordering things and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
the first set of tools even to kind of start crafting and stuff was kind of Ted sending them all their way and kind of
Wow.
developing the
That's
economy
cool.
even that way. Yeah, so we were there, and then I was on one of the pace teams effectively.
Yes.
And I was just in
I
a
saw that.
truck ripping through the jungle in Belize, and we just like get there, and like they don't even have time to like stop, right? You're like literally like it's like those camel packs, right?
Mhm.
You're literally just like on the ready, and like the second you see them, you're just throwing camel packs onto their boat, and that's it. And then they'll dump their camel packs, and you just go and grab their camel packs, and you fill up for the next station.
And they're just.
They're gone,
Crazy.
gone, so fast. So I mean, those are your top teams, right?
Yeah.
You like, there's if I were in it, I'd probably still be in like a regular canoe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
something like that, and I'd be like, yep, it's gonna instead of taking like 3 hours to finish, it's gonna take me 8, kind of a deal,
Yeah,
but
interesting.
gonna try and enjoy it a little more.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
but
in it to win it.
yeah, exactly. But some of those folks that are in there, they're jacked and
Yeah.
they're just like, they've been training for this all year, right? So
They're like marathon canoers.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they
what
do
this
like a
is.
circuit of like marathon canoe races.
Yep.
And there's a bunch in the U.S. It has a pretty big marathon
Yeah.
circuit. That's kind of its own little niche thing as well. But
Right.
It's interesting. I just think about this, the story about Belize and you're making your own cedar strip to like seeing some of the canoes at the different trade shows.
Mhm.
I mean, canoes might be one of those products where you've got in production right now the most basic construction technique up to the most high-end aerospace construction technique on the market right now. If you want to go to a store, you could buy a cedar strip.
Right.
Or, I mean, I think of like Winona Canoes. They really pioneered that ultra lightweight Kevlar.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So Swift's got some
Swift,
crazy too. He's got like
carbon fiber gunnels.
And it's like, it's all impregnated with like foam core on the inside of the gunnels, and it's all integrated and stuff like that. You got like a 21-pound, 17-foot canoe.
That's cool.
Like, you think of another product on the market that transcends
that
from the original like 1700s way up to 2020?
No, because no one's skiing on like pure wood skis. Or...
Right. So there's like that evolution.
Maybe Lee Valley tools, like your old kind of lathing tools from like the 1800s to the crazy ones now, but
they're pretty similar though. Like your planer back in the day, which so many folks collect and stuff, to the ones today. Really, it's just sharpen the blade, right?
Yeah.
So
I think the canoe, like there's
canoeing's cool. There's so many different facets.
You can choose where you fit into it.
History and
exactly.
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah.
Cool. Canoeing.
It's just the most fun thing.
It is. It's so accessible.
Yeah, and I don't know.
So accessible.
Nothing like the sunset paddle where you just like let all your fears or.
We're gonna get you into more whitewater.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Here we go.
Here it is.
So,
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Just biting at the bit to talk about it.
Tell us about your whitewater canoeing.
Yeah. Tell us about whitewater canoeing.
Yeah.
At one point in time, I was the youngest, not to toot my own horn, but I was the youngest whitewater instructor in Ontario.
Open canoe.
Cool.
Open canoe.
Where's that at?
That was a long time ago.
Nice.
Okay. I took my route when I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
I took my I was born in March.
Yeah.
I took it like right March 6th. It was like a week later. Took my whitewater open canoe instructor course.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well, I do know.
Been in for a while.
I do know at the King of the Alps event that we sponsor in Italy, they have a standing spot for Kevin to come and race the open canoe category. They have an open canoe category. They call it like a.
I'm doing it.
I'm probably going to like. They call it like a class 4+ the marathon section. It's certainly. I would say it's a class. Like it's a good class 4. Class 4+ is pretty. I think about class 4+ out in Western Canada is pretty hairball. There's no way you'd have an open canoe down it, but they have this open canoes category. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
like
sounds like it.
And Silver Birch is one of the major brands they have over in Europe, and these guys are trucking down the river, and it's just some guys are full carnage.
Right.
But yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah,
it's mass start as well. So it's just imagine 50 open canoes going down the river.
That's insane.
Yeah. So they have a standing spot for Kevin to show up.
Sweet.
I'm going. Starting my training next week.
Yeah.
There you go.
On Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
Down the party.
Fast down the Ottawa.
Right.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. No, it's fun though. I mean, I know I saw that you went.
MKC.
Yeah, MKC. Yeah. You did your first.
Yeah.
Intro to whitewater tandem course.
That's a cool site.
Yeah. It was the first time starting, at least. Yeah. Okay. I've kind of just been on the bow and you do your moves here there.
Yeah.
Just rock, But it was really super fun.
Did you see Claudia and Dirk there?
No.
Dirk's a big whitewater open canoeer.
Steffi,
Steffi's daughter.
She's running the operation.
She was there. She's super rad. Yeah, it was good. They kept us safe, and it was fun. We got to the 0 to hero class or whatever. So we were running some class 2s by the end of the day, and that was it's like fun. A highlight.
It's so much fun. I try. I mean, I don't climb, but I kind of think about it the same way as you look at a route.
It's way crazier to me.
So when you stand at the edge of a river, you're picking out your route, you're figuring out which way to go,
right?
And then you add the fact that you're canoeing, which is already fun.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's like a double whammy.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
the margin for error in canoeing is so small, right? You got to be on all the time.
Depending
on what class you're running and stuff
especially
like that, right?
in whitewater and what kind of craft you're paddling.
Yeah.
Like when you even just running down the Ottawa in a solo open boat.
I'm excited for Wednesday to see it.
I'm not taking the same lines that you're going to take in a brap.
Yeah.
Because if I fill it with water, I got to paddle that tub
Mhm.
to the eddy
Yeah.
full of water.
If you can make it.
If you can make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
you take different lines, dryer lines, just a different way to look at the water.
Yeah.
It's just a different way to look at
Yeah,
it.
you always be a couple different moves ahead all the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. So we kind of try to wrap some of these things up with like some of the gear that we make
Sure.
level 6 wise. I mean,
Yeah.
this is probably the least interesting after we have a wicked guest like yourself talking about what you're doing. But things that we do, we know that canoeing, it's been a big part of our heritage in Canada. And we started doing some things specifically for the canoeing background. A lot of people think of level 6 as a, core whitewater brand, but for certainly in the beginning that's where we were. But as we've kind of evolved, we've grown to more touring and more canoeing. And so some things here, like I know you use our barrel harness now,
Yeah.
which is a big innovation when we did it. I don't know, I think it was 6-7 years ago we designed that. It's one of those. It's been copied now a couple of times, but the concept is like there's blue barrels, which our American friends won't know what we're talking about because
No, it's a
Okay,
it was,
they
it was
don't
Wally
use blue barrels there?
Wally Schreiber at
Trailhead.
Trailhead started the whole blue barrel
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
blue barrel thing. Yeah,
It's like an auto thing.
it's an
even.
Ottawa thing.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
yeah, and now it's a
Um,
Canada thing.
Yeah, no, it's a Canada thing.
They're
Like,
so good.
oh, the best way to
Yeah.
trip. It's, you can put your when I go whitewater paddling, only use blue barrels
Yeah.
almost exclusively for not only for food because they're bear proof. It's almost
Yeah,
impossible
right.
for an animal to get in it,
Right.
but all your personal gear.
Yeah.
If you do dump your boat, it's floating downstream. It's super durable. It's
Yeah, you can pick it up 10
100%
kilometers
dry.
down the stream and
Yeah.
it's still
Right.
still
Yeah.
totally fine.
Right.
and with something like our barrel harness, it is
Portaging.
it's so comfortable.
So
It's just
better,
like
yeah.
wearing like a super expensive 60-liter backpack.
That's right.
Except that it's bomb-proof and waterproof.
Yeah. Yeah, so when we designed that, we made it so, cause, I don't know, a lot of people don't know, there's like two kinds of barrel. There's a 30-liter barrel and a 60-liter barrel. So in the old days, you had to have a barrel harness for both. Well, ours has a conversion kit which makes them fit both. So
Yeah.
you see other brands have
Versatile.
copied that thing, but it was a first to market years ago, and it's been still a great seller for us. Put a full-on harness system. We also do our golfing pack, which is our kind of call out to the whole vintage heritage canoeing thing that was, I guess 4 years ago. We saw
Traditional, yeah.
a real trend back into canoeing. So we wanted to create
Check it
something
out.
that was like kind of heritage feeling, leather patches,
Yeah.
something you could stuff all your dry bags inside and just dump it in and out.
When I look at something like that, I think of like traditional canoe tripping camps in like Temagami.
Yeah.
You've got a big leather bag with a tump
Yeah.
strap on, and you're carrying all your gear. It's real like old school style that
Yeah.
works. And it's basically just a bit of a modern take on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then our healing yoke pad.
Which
I don't know, probably
everyone should have.
Yeah,
It's
I think
it's a no-brainer. We sell a ridiculous amount of them.
Just like
Yeah.
every
it-
day.
I never even knew them.
Yeah,
They're awesome.
it's such an the perfect accessory for anyone
Yeah.
who owns a canoe.
It's like $20, right? It straps onto the yoke pad.
That's sweet.
Has air mesh foam underneath to protect
Make your life easy. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
whether you're carrying a 110-pound fully outfitted whitewater canoe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's or you've got a super light Kevlar boat with a contoured yoke.
We have a bunch of canoe making companies that buy that from us, and they just throw it in. When you buy a canoe, you get a level 6 yoke pad.
Sure.
It's just
Yeah.
it's such a
You
no-brainer.
can make a contoured yoke even more comfortable.
Yes,
Mhm.
there it is.
There it is.
And the last two things were kind of our garment pieces, like our Nahani jacket and our Temagami pant. And this was something we designed a year and a half ago. It's our ultralight fabric that we won that award for as the best innovation in gear.
Paddle Expo.
Paddle Expo. And we designed a true tripping jacket with neoprene gussets, so when you're canoeing in the rain, you don't get water trickling down
It's
like
the
you
best
would.
feature. I'm gonna stand up.
Here we go.
Yeah.
This is my favorite feature about this is the inner cuff on it.
You have to bring it closer.
Oh, can
You
you
can
see?
see that? This is one of those things that, like, if you're a canoer or you work for a canoeing company or a camp or an outfitter or something like that, and you've spent days loading
Yeah.
a canoe trailer with like 30 boats on it, and it's pouring rain,
Yeah.
and you've got your hands above your head the whole time, no matter how badass your rain jacket is, always end up with water running
Yeah, for
up
sure.
your
Classic.
into your
Right.
armpits, and having that on that jacket.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It's basically almost like 100% dry. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, like a nice drop seat on it as well. So when you're sitting in your canoe, you don't get the water trickling down your pants.
Yeah.
And Canada, we kind of have black fly season, and we have no black fly season.
Yeah.
And we're in no black fly season right now,
No black
which
fly
is
season.
perfect for canoeing. But unfortunately, September, October, the weather gets kind of foul sometimes. So these are one of those things you kind of pack it along. And being the ultralight fabric, compresses down to nothing.
Well, that's the nice part about it is that you can roll it into a ball and shove it into your bear barrel and whip it out when you need it.
Whip it out when you need it.
That's right. Yeah, I love it, and it's great for it's still a piece for like a canoeing specific piece. It's basically, a badass rain jacket with paddling specific features on it. So I wear mine when I walk my dog in the rain.
Yep.
And I also take it on all my canoe trips.
Yep. So you guys are gonna be like regular Canadians. And you want to enjoy the Labor Day long weekend, and you need to gear up. And all of our retailers have that.
Yep.
So go check that out. Kind of make your trip more comfortable. But anything else we want to talk about? We're kind of at our hour. Jesse always says an hour is where we need to stop because we get boring.
We could talk. I could talk forever about canoeing. But
Yeah. I'm.
Anything else?
out.
How about you? What's next for you? What's going on next in your life?
What is going next on my life? I don't know. I'm just building more things.
Your A-frame.
Yeah.
Finishing your
So
A-frame
I think
off.
kind of working on that. I think I actually am looking at trying to buy more land and
Yeah.
kind of something closer to town so I can move to and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just like building more things and
Cool.
Yeah, stoked.
Very cool.
Sweet. More canoeing.
More canoeing.
Yeah.
What's up? You're gone next week for? Is next week on holiday?
I'm
No.
going to the cottage.
Yeah, you're going to cottage canoeing.
Oh, canoe at the cottage.
At the cottage.
Yeah, I'm not going on a canoe trip though.
No.
Yeah, soon.
Yes.
Soon.
Yeah, when Parker gets a bit older.
Maybe this fall while I'm off.
Yeah.
With Parker, she'll be 5 months.
Yep.
Take her on her first canoe trip this fall.
Cool.
Best time to go. No
That's
bugs.
good. No bugs.
No bugs.
No bugs.
Yeah, great time
Awesome.
to go. Bring the wife and the fam and
Cool.
Yeah.
I got nothing going on. We
Checking-
are
checking emails.
Yeah, so we check emails.
Checking emails.
Working. No, we are heading off to Paddle Sports Retailer. When is that? It's in 2 weeks.
Yep, end of the month.
End of the month to highlight the 2020 stuff. You'll see a lot of live feeds on our Facebook Live. I know Scott McGregor's going to be there with Paddling Magazine doing some Facebook Lives.
Yeah, we've got some pretty amazing
Yep.
new product announcements for 2020 that'll be shown at the show.
Yeah, 3 new products actually in the new what's best category.
Yep.
2 new dry suits.
Don't
and
leak too much.
3 new things.
3 new
3 new
things.
things.
You have to wait until the end of the month to tune in. The guys will be doing some live videos at the show.
Yeah.
So you can kind of check it out. If you're stoked on it, then share the video and
it should be good.
tell your
and
local
boat,
retailer
actually.
that you wanna buy it.
I think in September when we launch the whitewater sweepstakes, we're going to unveil one of our
More new cool stuff.
probably one of our bigger innovations that we've done in our spray skirt category or even our whitewater category as a whole.
Yeah.
We've
got some cool things in the pipeline.
Some cool things in the pipeline.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to use the word game changer, but it's going to be a game changer.
Life's easy when you're awesome.
Yeah. That's it though. As always, subscribe. Any hate tweets, anything, Jesse?
You got Matt Tucker
Oh yeah.
saying that he wants the Nahani for all of his needs. Pre and post paddling.
Awesome. Anything else?
And Whitney,
Uh-oh.
Kevin's biggest
Kevin's-
fan.
My biggest fan.
What's Whitney saying?
I can't believe you're on beer number 2 already.
Don't bother coming home.
Jeez.
No, that's it.
That's it. All right.
That's it.
Let's do the
Beer review.
beer review. I've already personally reviewed this one, but
We've already done it before.
what do you think?
Show, but
It's great.
Yeah.
It's beer.
It's my summertime, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
it's my summertime beer. Actually, my wife was stocking up the fridge for the weekend, and I saw a bunch of this in there, which was perfect. So
it's perfect for like
she's
that
learned me now.
super hot day if you're a beer drinker that doesn't want something too hoppy. You're
Yeah.
not into IPAs or beers that are like really bitter.
Yeah.
This is super nice and light. Goes down easy.
You can't go if you're indecisive. You can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, delicious every day, anytime.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Peace.
Enjoy.
See ya.